Hello and welcome. My name is JesseMcDesign. Today we're going to be building this cat bed here out of paper mache and this wood block to help hold them down. Let's get started. Alright, going to be joining me on the floor for most of this video because I need some space to do this. So don't mind this weird awkwardness and me being in sweatpants because I like to be comfortable. So what we got going on is I ordered this beach ball. I think it's gonna be a perfect size for what we got going on. I also went ahead and ordered this plastic chain that's pretty big, but I think it'll be perfect for this. Seems just about right proportional for everything we got going on here. We will have to do some painting on that, make it a little more silver rather than this weird brown rusty color. And then I went to the thrift store and found this light pink hoodie. And then onto the main thing here is going to be paper mache in this ball. I also went ahead and grabbed a few newspapers. I'm going to start tearing this into strips. I don't know, I should have enough I think to wrap this a few layers thick. I do want to make sure that this thing is super solid, it isn't gonna like collapse or anything. So if before we paint it, I might do like a coat of epoxy or something on here to make it super hard and super solid, and then, you know, we'll work around from there. A few detail pieces, like the back side of the chomp has like a little like platform thing that the chain comes off. We'll probably make that out of foam. I have some leftovers from a project before. And then same with the eyes, we'll probably do the same out of foam or something of that nature because they're kind of 3D popping off. We're just gonna start tearing strips of this newspaper up and just start making a mess. Hopefully not too much of a mess, but it'll be fun. Let's get started. I used about 2/3 of my Mod Podge, so if you were thinking about doing this yourself or something similar, that's the 32 ounce is what I have. I use about 2/3 of it, so give or take somewhere in there. If you wanted to make this harder, you could put a couple more layers on it, I guess, if you wanted. Now what I'm gonna do is, I have this plywood laying here, and I'm gonna measure out, I think I'm gonna go with 1 foot by 1 foot box for the chain is gonna come off and then attached to the box just as a extra little piece to go along with this, because he's usually chained down to either a stake or whatever or something of that nature. This is about 2 foot, I think. This is about 2 foot. So I'm just gonna go, I think that's a 1 foot there. So I think a nice little 1 by 1 will be perfect for this. And that makes it easy because this is a 2 by 4 foot plank, so I'll be using a little more than half for that. I'm not gonna put a bottom to it. I'm just gonna make the 4 sides and then the top. What I'm gonna do now is mark this out really quick, and then tomorrow when I go to work, I'll cut this out at work, get to marking this and drawing out this mouth. Got our pieces cut out here. I did actually mess up with the lid. I cut the lid or the top to the same size, which isn't correct. It either needs to be slightly smaller or slightly bigger, but I also think I might be able to make it work, so I might not do it. Right now we're gonna glue and nail up the 4 sides, and that'll help me figure out if I should cut this down or what I should do with the lid to make it work. But either way, it'll be fine. Let's get this thing glued up and the lid figured out. What I'm gonna do now is some messy stuff that's gonna need some time to dry. I'm gonna stain this a darker brown with this dark walnut, and then I went and got some metallic silver paint, which I haven't tried yet, but I think it'll be just fine. I'm gonna dry brush that all over this chain to make it more silver rather than brown. I'm okay if some of this brown comes through, which I'm sure it will, especially like where the links rub against each other, which I'm totally okay with. It'll match the brown of the wood and everything, but I want it to be more silver rather than this rust color that it is now. We're knocking this thing out pretty quick. I went ahead and made these little plate pieces. I was originally gonna just make the tops and then cut out like something a little bit thicker than this and just make a strip all the way around. But what I had wasn't long enough for this big of a circle, so what I did was just double up the two thicker things I had, and that'll be fine. As you can see here, we also made another one for this, and that'll just go onto the back here. We'll have to do a little persuading to get it to sit nice on the radius of this, the ball, you know what I mean? Maybe we'll do some pre-forming before we glue it on, make it a little bit easier. But we'll get that where we want it, and then I'll mark it with a pencil. So there's a light graphite line that'll help me line it up a little bit better. And then we also cut out these little eyepieces, and again, we'll have to make sure that we get the little pupil parts going in the right direction so it looks right. But this is the top, and it will be something like that. You can kind of see what we got going on here. Again, we're gonna have to curve these a little bit to help us get these in the right spots. The edges don't peel up or nothing. And we're gonna mark them out because we're gonna put some glue on here and on the backs of these, so we make sure that we have full contact with everything and they don't go nowhere. You saw me run that tape line for the outside of the mouth. Now that we got this painted, I'm gonna peel that off to reveal my clean line that I got going on there. And it's actually, I went just off of that, so I'll be able to work with that no problem. And what we're gonna do is take this white sign paint that I have, and this in particular, because it's very opaque, it should cover all this nonsense pretty well. I will have to do probably at least 2 coats, I think, but either way it'll be a lot easier than if I tried using like acrylic like I did with the rest of this. And honestly, it doesn't really matter what I use, but it'll help because it's a nice thick sign paint. Hopefully it all comes together. So we're coming up to the last couple things. What I'm gonna do now is I have this kind of taped up so it hopefully hardens in this position. It was kind of just slightly off, wonky, but right now where I'm looking at it, and this is pretty centered. Everything looks pretty nice. I'm super happy with how it's coming together. I added another support R2 from what I showed you, and I added a whole layer, another layer of Mache to the inside of this thing. I only have a little bit left of my Mod Podge, so I used that whole thing for this. What I'm gonna do now is do the last thing left, which is make our tongue pillow. And I'm gonna use my ruler here to kind of find what I feel is level. I'm gonna slightly mark my level all the way around this thing, and then I'm gonna measure out what that radius is, and then I'm gonna mark it onto here plus probably 2 inches if depending on what kind of room I actually have to be able to do this. Either way, I might add just an extra layer on the inside of foam just to make sure it's not like, it doesn't create like a weird dish. I want it to be, try to keep it slightly fluffy and like a bubbly tongue. I've had this stuff laying around for years. It's just like a 3/4 of an inch, I'm not really sure exact size, just a soft foam, and we're gonna fill in most of the space with that. And then to really fill it out, I got this bag of polyfill, and we're just gonna, you know, shove it in there and make a nice soft pillow for whatever critter decides to stay in this thing. We're gonna get this thing all figured out, and then we'll come back to you before we sew this back up. We got our little piece here. I marked out my opening. I want to leave a little bit to be able to get the foam piece in there. And just like that, got our little thing going on here. This side's a little mess, but that's okay. A new purchase for me. I've only done a couple things with it, but it works great. I will turn this thing right side out. We've got a little tongue. Thing stuffed here. It looks great, but I think I want to go bigger, and I don't have fabric, and honestly it's kind of okay because I still need to wait for this to dry, and I need to paint the insides and do a whole mess of things. So we're on to our last little bit here. As you can see, I painted the inside of this thing off camera because it's no different than the outside. I added that structure, and I think it definitely helps. It's a lot stiffer. Pretty happy with it. The last thing I want to do is, I think I'm gonna coat the inside of this thing with epoxy. One, that'll give it a nice smooth finish. It'll be easy to clean in there if you have to for whatever reason. Again, if whatever animal decides to sleep in this thing, you want to keep it somewhat easy to clean. So what we're gonna do is flip this guy upside down and get some epoxy poured. Alright, so there you have it. I'm pretty happy with how this came out. It was a little more work than I was expecting, but you know, trying new things, weird things happen. I ended up getting this other pillow made. Don't remember exactly what I showed there. The other one was much smaller. This one came out great. I added that little line by hand to make it look a little more like a tongue. You know, it fits in here. Great. I also do like the red rather than the light pink. I think it stands out a little bit more, and I think the actual, from the image, that's what it was more originally from the, you know, the game and everything. The gloss on the eyes, I don't know if I would do again. It was just, it looks fine, it looks great, honestly, but it for an extra day for each eye pretty much is just a little too much. I would have rather have gotten this finished, you know, on the weekend when I originally planned, but you know, either way, it turns out great. If I do it again, I probably won't do it. I'll just put, you know, clear coat on it or something, just rather than dealing with all this and letting it harden, and then I got like another couple hours cleaning the edges up afterwards. But other than that, I would also probably add another layer to the teeth and the edge of the mouth here, just to make it look like it's a little bit thicker and more robust. You know, I'm happy with this, how it looks. It's a little thin, but it looks a lot better than if it was just the paper mache. So I'm happy with that. But if I were to do it again, I would definitely add another layer and make it thicker, or buy some thicker foam or whatever I could come up with to make it, you know, this guy's solid. He's a steel ball pretty much. You know, you want him to look beefy and strong. This box is pretty much self-explanatory, you know. I'm pretty happy with how it came out, even though we had the little issue with the lid, but I like that little step. It kind of gives that weird 8-bit look. You're like, wait a minute. It kind of makes you look twice at it. Also, the chain, these pieces, I left them just kind of pressure fit in there. They're the half pieces that I cut in, you know, I cut one link in half, and with the clear that's on the foam and the foam itself, and then like the plastic on these, it's kind of tacky. So all I gotta do is just, you know, put a little pressure, and the holes are slightly bigger than this, so it helps keep this in place. And then I did the exact same for the back here. You know, it comes off. I think it was just, you know, I thought about gluing it in, but I feel like if you want to ever transport this thing, or when I gotta deliver it, or if whoever buys it needs to move or whatever, it'll be easier to have two separate pieces. You know, you can throw the chain in here with the pillow. It all came together great. Pretty happy with it. Like I said, if you like what you saw, hit the thumbs up. It really helps. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe. I'm always over here creating stuff, trying new things. Who knows what it could be? Art, furniture type stuff, decor. I don't know. See you on the next one.